Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
Sorry, Craig, I just burned myself, and maybe that's in honor of Los Angeles fires. But hey, welcome to the program. Pierre Warski coming to you live from the East Coast. It's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most. No Los Angeles fires here. Promise to bring you the best in conservative news there is. Craig,
Yes, sir.
Thank God it's Tuesday.
Thank God it's Tuesday. It's more than just Tuesday, though. It's Taco
That's
Tuesday.
Right.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yummity yum. It's like a treat.
Okay, those were some interesting dance moves you had going on there, Mike.
Trying to put the fire out. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you know, that's why they say, you know, smoking and being on the radio can be a problem.
I mean, if you're smoking on the radio, you're doing it too fast. Smoking, baby.
Smoking. Wow, that is like an old reference. Very, very old reference. But then again, hey.
You're very old. So
You are very old. Or you're trying to relate to me. There you go. That's what it is. You're trying to relate to
that's
me.
it. I'm trying to relate to you. Yes.
I appreciate that, sir. I very much appreciate that.
Anytime.
Anytime. So how's the weather out there, sir?
It is. Let's see. It's brutal. I had to put on a long sleeve T-shirt today, so it's pretty nasty. It's let's see what we got here. Time we're ready. The internet's all slow. Woo! 66 there right now. So
Very nice. Man, yeah. Dude, so I was checking out the weather for Vegas for next week, and like the highs are going to be, I think the highest it's going to be is 59, and it's going to be in the mid to low 30s most of the week at night.
Same as always.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
when are
we outside too? You know, we're outside when we're getting out of the Uber and getting into the casino. You know,
right? Well, we had a couple of years, man, where it was in the mid 60s most of the time.
You know how hot it is there, Craig? How cold it is?
How cold?
71 degrees.
That's what
degrees.
That's what the temperature is inside the casino. There you go.
That's it.
100% oxygen.
Yep. 71 degrees.
Slightly cut with bourbon.
So that's exactly right. 71 degrees with slightly bourbon.
So, we have a good, folks, in case you do not know, we have a very good time every year at SHOT Show there in Las Vegas. And we're going to be there again this upcoming year. Once again, if you guys have never had a chance to make it out to SHOT, you got to go out to SHOT. Even if you don't go to the show, there's a ton of different stuff that you can do, events, stuff like that you can go and that you can participate in that are a lot of fun. One of those happens to be our SHOT Show party, which is going to be taking place Monday, Inauguration Day. Once again, there at SHOT Show. You folks do not want to miss this. We're going to have a bunch of our sponsors there. You guys, if you're watching this, you might recognize some of these folks, whether it's Arms Room Radio. I think I know those guys. Mike resembles at least one of those guys. Next Level Training, Imperium Strategies Group, Strategic Group, which is brand new sponsor. Hitman Industries, you know them. Lion Arms, they're not lying at Lion Arms, and folks at Gun Tech, Hog Holsters, and more will be there. We're gonna have a good time.
And
we hope you will join us.
And more. If you're lucky, when you come there to the party, you get to booze with DeLuz.
Oh, yeah. So when we did it with FPC, right? I used to do the broadcast. I had a show over at FPC called Morning Coffee with Craig. So in the evenings when we would do the events over there, we would do Booze with Deleuze. And it was fun. We had a good time, although by later in the evening probably shouldn't have been on. But we'll
From the video, I look fine, so I'm okay.
Yeah. Mike does a very good job of pretending to be sober. None of us knew he wasn't. I, on the other hand, while I was not drunk, you could definitely tell I was intoxicated and was not planning on driving anywhere.
You were definitely Venus flytrap for the evening, and I was Dr. Johnny Fever.
Well, it was funny because here's the thing. The funny part about it is you're sitting there and then people see you doing the show. So people would just drop drinks by.
Yeah.
Didn't have to wait.
Yeah.
Just as soon as one glass looked like it was close to empty, bam, there was another one sitting right there.
And you know my rule. There's no way I'm drinking that unless you put it in front of me.
There you go. Exactly. Which speaks volumes of the folks in the gun community. And folks, this is like I said, this is the kickoff event. This is the one that everybody wants to go to. So, folks, you want to be there. Trust me. And by the way, it's a free event
With free beer.
What more do you need? What more do we need to do to convince you that this is the place to be?
Table Dances by Craig.
Table Dances by Craig. Well, I did get spanked one year.
Yeah.
They do that there.
I do know my co-host on Arms Room Radio, Earl, who is the great grandson of Daniel Boone. He will be there. And he's going to be selling one touch of his beard for $5 or 3 touches for 10.
You're going to want to touch his beard.
Yeah.
You are. I suffer whenever I see Earl. I always suffer from beard envy.
Oh, he's definitely got beard. He got like 12, 14
beard.
inches of beard. He's got beard. Yeah.
There you go. Yes, he is. He's like the John Holmes of beard.
It's just a family show, Craig. Family show.
Look, only old folks know who that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that having been said, let's get ready to kick off this show. And you know how we always do it. We start off with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, let's say hi to Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. It's actually where I was yesterday during showtime. I was with the guys over there and the ladies at Hitman Industries. You can get yourself AR barrels, any rifle caliber, any pistol caliber, any like you desire for your current AR platform or rebuild or your next current AR platform, whatever you want to do. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's Future Today. Hog Holsters. You got the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market. Get on over to Hog Holsters. That's HAWGholsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, military, law enforcement, security, EMS, fire, you can get everything except the gun at uscombatgear.com. And Greg, I just want to point out that I don't know what the status of California Republican Assembly is, but everybody we just mentioned will be at the party on Monday night.
Well, as the director of communications and the spokesman for the California Republican Assembly, I will be there, so they will be represented and will be in the house, shall we say?
Up into his and it's not in the house; it's in the Hofbrau house.
In the Hofbrau house, in the Hofbrau Hiesel for Schiesel.
It's in the house. Come to play with Craig's sausage.
No, we're not playing with Craig's sausage.
Oh, we're not doing any more Johnny Holmes references? I'm sorry. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry, folks. That's just us. These are the ABCs of me, baby. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
ABC. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, we're dating ourselves again, Mike.
Somebody has to.
Somebody has to. Anyway, All right, folks. I also want to encourage you, if you haven't already done so, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. However you partake of the program, encourage your friends to do the same, whether you just listen to the audio or whether you actually watch us live. And by the way, if you watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Rumble, go ahead and comment. We're following your comments right now. That's 3 p.m. Pacific. If you're watching us 3 p.m. Pacific or 6 p.m. Eastern, you're watching us live. Go ahead and comment, and if we find what you have to say interesting, we'll go ahead and we'll share it with the audience. And if we don't like it, but we find it interesting, we will appropriately mock you. So go ahead, have your say. We're looking forward to you joining the conversation. And with that, we'll go ahead and get into today's program. Story number 1: Pete Hegseth, the president's nominee for Secretary of Defense, is let's just say that he is up for what's the word I'm looking for? His hearing was today. God, that was real easy for me to say. His hearing was today's confirmation hearing, and let's just say that he was under a bit of fire. And when I say under fire, you know how Democrats do. They never really talk about the focus of what the actual job is. They just make a bunch of stuff up, and then they go after you. Kind of like this.
I have read multiple reports of your regularly being drunk at work, including by people who worked with you at Fox News. Do you know that being drunk at work is prohibited for service members under the UCMJ?
Senator, those
Yes
are
or no?
multiple false anonymous reports peddled by NBC
Do you
News
know
that
that
run directly
drinking on the job
contradictory to the
is
dozens of men and women at
Not
Fox News
contemplated
Channel
on it.
who I work with
I'm
who
not
came
hearing
on
the
the
answer to my
record
question.
and said they've
In your
never
opening
seen
statement,
that.
Mr. Hegseth, you commit to holding leaders accountable at all levels. That includes you, of course. And frankly, as secretary, you will be on the job 24/7. You recently promised some of my Republican colleagues that you stopped drinking and won't drink if confirmed, correct?
Absolutely.
So this is the sort of stuff, the sort of attacks that took place. In fact, one of the other folks, Tim Kaine from West Virginia, I believe, decided that he was going to come out and attack him as well. And what was interesting was that not only did Pete Hegseth come out firing and defending himself, but Republican members of the committee came out firing to protect him as well.
Or I guess I better use the senator from Virginia, starts bringing up the fact that what if you showed up drunk to your job? How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? Have any of you guys asked them to step down and resign from their job? And don't tell me you haven't seen it, because I know you have. And then how many senators do you know have got a divorce before cheating on their wives? Did you ask them to step down? No. But it's for show. You guys make sure you make a big show and point out the hypocrisy because the man's made a mistake. And you want to sit there and say that he's not qualified? Give me a joke. I mean, it is so ridiculous that you guys hold yourself as this higher standard and you forget you got a big plank in your eye.
Okay, so first of all, let me just, and I know this is kind of a minor point, but I believe it's give me a break, not give me a joke.
Yeah, I thought he meant to say like, give me a break or as well. So it was just, he got caught up in the emotion of it, you know.
He did, but it was, but it was a great point. It's like, why are you guys coming after him for this stuff? You're going after him because, well, let's see, he got a divorce, or he wound up getting a divorce. He was unfaithful to his wife, but like, they had done it. He acknowledged that. And by the way, his wife was right there. His wife was standing by him. And these are all things that he's dealt with and he's talked with and he's dealt with his wife. It's like, what are you people doing? Because you don't really have anything substantive.
No. And I'm pretty sure, looking at Maisie there and Mr. King, I'm pretty sure they were drunk then. I mean, she was pretty. Okay, you tell me you get to Get that Hawaiian sand out of your mouth or something. There. I, don't know
I
what
was
you're doing
thinking the
with
same exact thing. I was like, you know, I was waiting for him to say, "You sound like you've had a pelt or two yourself, Senator. Are you sure? You sure we shouldn't breathalyze you?"
That's it. Give him a breathalyzer. Yep. Yeah. It's amazing. But this, clearly it seems as though the Republican, party here is behind him. And it's only only need 50 votes to get him confirmed. So we'll see how this goes.
Exactly. Well, Mike, and what's also interesting about this whole thing is you actually also had, you had people in the media who were piling on as well, who were like, well, he was accused of rape. Now, despite the fact that it had totally been debunked, he was not charged or anything like that. You literally had members of the media, who were accusing Republicans of telling FBI not to interview witnesses, basically trying to manipulate the whole process.
Again, the question that's raised here is, who directed the FBI not to talk to the person with the most explosive testimony against Pete Hegseth, the charges of rape against Pete Hegseth?
Now, he's never been arrested. He's never been. This is so. What's the word I'm looking? He said, "Look, you've never led an organization more than a couple of hundred people, and this is, you've never managed an organization larger than that." And I think that's a legitimate question, but his response I also thought was legitimate, was that, well, we've had people who've run and managed these large organizations, and where has that gotten us? Right where we are right now.
And I get the I get the question. It's a large organization that you're going to manage. You're be responsible for a large amount of people, but especially in the DoD, especially in the military, they have their span of control. He's going to directly supervise less than 10 people. I'd be surprised if it was more than 5. Mm-hmm. He's going to have appointed people below him that are qualified, and then they will supervise their 5 to 10, and then they will supervise their 5 to 10. It's how the military works. It's why a general's not out there telling the private what to do.
Well, and what's funny is that directly works towards what he noted was his management style. He's like, look, I'm going to bring in people who are eminently smarter than me and more equipped in the specific areas where they are going to be leading and make decisions than I am. And I'm going to tell them, go do your job. This is the mission. You go do it. And we're going to talk about how we're going to do it, and then you're going to go do it. Now, one area that was raised multiple times, and I thought he did a good job of, because they want to make him seem like he's anti-woman, right? They want to say, well, you're a rapist and you're a sexual predator and all of this. None of that stuck. But then they were coming after his opposition to women in combat. And I thought he did a very good job of defending himself in focusing on this. He said, look, ultimately, we cannot lower standards because it then lowers our readiness, right? And clearly, in multiple instances, and the one thing I think he should have pointed out was said, look, what my concerns were back in 2013 when I was first went on the record talking about this, up and all the way up through, several months ago, was this. If we're lowering the standards, nothing wrong with women in combat if they can meet the standards that have been deemed necessary by the experts for them to be capable, fully capable, to be able to be effective in combat. And he's like, we've lowered the standards.
And they still they've done it even as they're trying to say now that they have the women meeting the standard to go through in combat. It's not the truth. There's a separate set of physical fitness standards for men and women. If I want to get a maximum score on running the 2-mile portion of the test, I have to do it in 13 minutes, right? A woman has to do it in 16 minutes. If I want to do the maximum number of push-ups, I have to do 80 push-ups. They only have to do 40. So where they're saying, oh no, they're at the highest standards. No, there's a separate standard for women than there is for men. What we need is one standard for soldiers, and you either meet that standard or you don't.
I heard that the minimum standard for the 2 mile now is 22 minutes.
That's the minimum standard for women.
Right. Right.
So they have to get a 60% to pass. That would
Okay.
be the 60% score.
I,
For men, the 60% score is 18 minutes.
Yeah. And that's, basically you're talking about 9-minute mile versus an 11-minute mile. I'm sorry, but first of all, 9-minute mile for someone who's going to be operating in the military is not that, it's not that hard. I am 55 years old and I can do 9-minute miles. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
What gets me though is to say then we have once again a different standard. Now it's 22-minute miles. I could power walk to a 2 mile walk in that time.
Absolutely. Remember now, these are multiple tests taken
Right.
with no more than a 20-minute break in between.
Right.
And then with the new test, you're talking about 6 different tests rather than 3. But yeah, absolutely, they're designed to test overall fitness. And again, it's a different standard. Women meet the standard. No, they meet the women's standard. They meet the lesser standard.
Right.
They don't meet the overall combat readiness standard.
Right. Well, and let's be honest, Mike, it's a smear campaign. I mean, what this really comes down to is they don't really have anything solid other than the fact that he hasn't taken the traditional route that a lot of folks do. But when you look at the definition, the job, what the role is, first of all, it's supposed to be a civilian. You're not even required to be in the military, to have served in the military in order to be Secretary of Defense. And basically all you really have to do is be a civilian. That's your literal only requirement. Oh, and if you did serve in the military, you have, I think it's a 10-year period where you're supposed to have not served on the board of a military contractor or something like that.
Yeah, there's varying rules depending on what level of contract you are. Yeah.
Well, exactly. So, and which, by the way, our current Secretary of Defense did not meet because he had to get an exemption because he had served on the board of Raytheon.
That's right.
Anyway, it's all about a smear campaign. And that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do to Pete Hegseth because he is a disruptor. He's going to come in and he is going to do the one thing that the military needs, and that is focus on their readiness, making sure they are ready to kill people and break things, which now, once again, you being the military expert on the show, I believe that's kind of their job.
Close with and destroy the enemy by fire and maneuver.
There you go. Kill people and break things.
That's right.
I don't understand why this is so hard.
Yep.
And you know what, Mike? I didn't even sleep in a Holiday Inn Express last night, and even I get it.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
That then brings us to our next story. Out here in the city of Los Angeles, because the Los Angeles fires, needless to say, there are always going to be people who are going to take advantage. And sure enough, guess what we have? That's right, looters taking advantage here in Southern California. Because in California, this is the place where we basically legalized looting. Says here, this is being reported by the New York Post. Dozens of suspected looters accused of preying on ritzy neighborhoods that evacuated ahead of fires. Dozens of out-of-town vultures have been busted for sneaking into ritzy neighborhoods in the Los Angeles wildfire evacuation zone to loot abandoned homes, and local police are naming and shaming them as a warning to the rest. More than 40 people have been bagged by the Santa Monica police since swaths of the area and neighboring Pacific Palisades were evacuated last week ahead of the deadly 24,000-acre Palisades fire. About 88,000 Los Angeles County residents have been ordered to evacuate their homes, and tens of thousands more were told to flee last week to escape fast-moving blazes. And here are just some of the images of the 40 that have been arrested. Mike, and what's sad about this is that I'm surprised they actually wound up releasing this because, as you're noting, that does not necessarily fit the whole DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion matrix that one would expect.
No, and I see. I thought Dr. Ruth had passed away, but evidently she's there as part of the crew there in the bottom center. It's interesting.
I, I will say this, and I'll say that what I have appreciated from some of the liberals that I have seen there on social media, even they too are very much, throw those bums under the jail. They're like, look, I realize we don't prosecute criminals in California, but they need to go to jail.
Absolutely right. It's and nobody in California is going to put them in jail either, Craig, because they just, how do you expect them to make a living? Well, all right, whatever.
Well, we do have a new district attorney there in Los Angeles, a Republican district attorney, D.A. Hochman, who I believe is going to make sure that to the degree that is maximally possible, he will make sure that they do face the music in California courts. Now, I don't know what the judges are going to do, but I do know that I do firmly believe that he will make sure that they are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
There you go. Is it still a law? Is that one of those ones they decriminalized?
Well, looting, I do not believe they have decriminalized. I just do not know if it is a felony.
Gotcha.
See, once it hits a misdemeanor, it's even less than a traffic ticket.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be, but in California, it is if you decide you're going to do that. Anyway, folks, that brings us to our next subject. Now, this one really frustrates me for this reason. Now, you know our position on red flag laws. These are the laws, in case you do not know. It basically says if you you can lose your right to keep and bear arms or to own or possess a firearm if someone goes to a judge and gets it deemed so. You don't get to have representation. You don't get to be there in court. You don't get to defend yourself. You do not have to have broken the law. You just lose your rights, and they come and take your guns. Well, in Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Democratic governor has opted to institute a red flag law, not by putting it through the legislature, not by passing a law through the legislature, but this Wisconsin Democratic governor signed an executive order creating Violence Prevention Office to fight gun crime. Now check this out. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers used an executive order Tuesday morning to create a state-level violence prevention office dedicated to fighting gun crime. Evers did this in response to the December 16, 2024 shooting at Madison Abundant Life Christian School, which left 2 innocents dead. It says here the suspect in the shooting was 15-year-old student, and police have not revealed how the student acquired the guns. Now, one would think, Mike, that before you go and you decide that you're going to take actions, right? And by the way, as a part of that office, they're going to institute red flag laws. So just so you know, even though I didn't read that part of the story, that's part of what the office is going to do. You would think that you would wait and have all of the details. You would know how the person got the guns because, first of all, it's a 15-year-old, so they're not allowed to legally own a firearm. I'm assuming, I'm pretty sure federal law does not allow them to possess a firearm outside of the supervision of an adult. They're definitely not allowed to have one on school grounds. So, and by the way, they're also not allowed to shoot people. So I'm assuming that that's at least 4 laws broken, and now they want to create another law that can be broken.
If we only had one more law, Craig, we could stop this violence.
Yeah, if we only had one more law would be broken.
We should make a law that says all those laws are illegal, not to break them.
There you go.
Oh, wait. That's what the laws are. Got it. Okay.
Wow. You did that like all in one stream of consciousness.
Yeah,
you're smarter than the average liberal.
Well, that's not saying much, but I appreciate the compliment.
That's a pretty low bar we've set there for you.
That's it. That is. That's like I tie my shoes on my own,
Yeah.
That kind of compliment,
Well, here's the thing, folks, and once again, this is another example of the executive office of members of the executive office abusing their not their you can't even say abusing their authority, because they don't have the authority to do this. They are literally usurping the authority of the legislative branch. And this is where the Constitution actually matters. This is where the state constitutions matter. Folks, laws are written in the legislative branch. You know, conjunction, junction, what's your function? Right? You know, the whole thing. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. I'm just a bill. That's the one I was thinking of. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. Yeah, that's what's supposed to happen. The legislative branch writes a law, and the executive branch actually enforces or implements that law. They're not supposed to be writing laws from the executive. But you have, and it seems to always be liberals who are the ones who are doing this. And then they get mad when conservatives or when Republicans use executive orders to undo the executive orders that they wrote.
Yeah, you know, but that's not the point at that point, right? To them, it's, oh, we did all this stuff because we had to do something, and oh, I know you may have come along and done what was constitutionally correct and in accordance with our rights, but it doesn't matter because we did it first and you undid it.
Right. It's like, I'm sorry, but no, it is not. It is not the law just because you decided that you were going to decide that this is what we're going to do. No, that does not make it the law. It makes it the law when you pass it through the legislative branch and then it's signed into law by the governor. Now, I don't have to like it, but that still makes it the law. As long as it doesn't violate the Constitution, then that's a whole different process. Then you go into the judicial. But you don't get to just make stuff up in the executive just because you want it your way.
No, and they think they can. And then it comes to the courts, and the courts say, no, you can't do that. But in the meantime, we've wasted how much time and money?
Well, and that's the thing. What gets me about those instances, Mike, is that we're literally we're basically funding gun owners in particular. We're funding both sides of the case, right? Our tax dollars are being used against us in the courts, right? Because that's what's funding the DAs and the attorneys general, and the city attorneys that are on the other side of this case. And then we have to come up with the money to pay the Second Amendment Foundation, the NRA, the Firearms Policy Coalition, to defend our rights, right? So we're paying on both sides.
Yep. Yes, we are.
It is.
Yes, we are. We pay it, and it's designed to hurt us, because they're coming at it with unlimited funds for the most part, Craig.
There you go. So one of the things, and I actually had reached out to Harmeet Dillon, who is she has been tapped to be the assistant attorney general over civil rights. And one of the things that I reached out to her, well, you might recall that there's a lot of conversation regarding the DEI hire to head up the LAFD or assistant, anyway, who came out and they actually raised. And I'll let you hear what she had to say. And this person had a phenomenal response that I think you all will definitely agree with.
Somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Okay, first off, thousands of people die every year being trapped in burning buildings, and if I were in that situation, I would not want someone who looks like me, some dainty princess-looking nerd, delicately trying to pick the lock of my home to rescue me. No way. I want a huge, burly, 300-pound muscular Viking of a man breaking down my door who looks like he can carry me and my entire family with one arm down the staircase while simultaneously hosing away any and all flames, delivering us to safety 20 floors below. And if they then were in that situation, you better bet they'd want the exact same type of man coming to the rescue as well.
Okay. My favorite part was at the end when she says, and if them were in that situation.
Yeah, this fireman person, whatever we were dealing with here, should be fired for that comment. Should be absolutely just done. Released from the fire service on the spot.
I would definitely agree, but that was all a part of them promoting that's not like they just said that. That was part of them promoting their emphasis on DEI. Now, mind you, as they were increasing their budget on DEI, as they were increasing the number of supervisors who dealt with and managed and did all this DEI stuff, they cut the budget for fire prevention. They cut the budget for staff. In fact, they negotiated the cuts so that they could give some of their higher earning members of the union more money, but that's a whole different thing. Right. But they cut money from the fire service while they're promoting and increasing funding for DEI.
Yeah.
All right, now there is a video that I'm about to play you that is likely illegal under California law, but I have to play it anyway because it pretty much is representative of Democrat leadership before, during, and well, I would say after the fire, but the fire's still going on. And you got Karen Bass playing the violin. You got Oprah singing, and you got Gavin Newsom playing the violin. This is hilarious. You guys are missing this. You're just missing it. Sorry.
Once more, you open the door, and you're here in my heart, and my heart will go on and on.
Okay, I can't take any more of that. I can't take any more of them.
A huge play on Nero fiddled while Rome burned, right? I did see the one part there where Rosie was running. All I could imagine was like a Twinkie truck overturned at the end of her block.
Yeah, that was definitely hilarious. All right, now our last two parting shots are brought to you by our good friends over at the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can count on, and they are in honor of Pete Hegseth and his hearing today. The first one here, it says Pete Hegseth awarded Silver Star for enduring room full of hysterical women.
Yes. Yeah, Silver Star might not be high enough, but yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because he wants to protect women, right? He wants to make sure that they are protected both in combat, but also to make sure that they are protected, just in general as citizens of these United States. Therefore, he should be, he should be deserving of a job. But then there's this one. He says here, Democrats question Pete Hegseth's qualifications after learning he's never once wore a dress.
What? Disqualified.
Disqualified? Yeah, because he's never worn a dress. But that seems to be the sort of thing that's important to them. I mean, if you're going to be a DEI, if you're going to be there in the era of DEI, well, then you've got to show representation of all groups, and obviously he needs to wear a dress.
Yeah, I don't, how could he not? Didn't he go to college?
At Princeton. He did go to a liberal university.
Yeah.
For what that's worth.
Yeah. New Jersey. Yeah.
New Jersey. Okay. All right, folks. Well, that just about brings the show to the end. But before we go, we got to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep. Let's say hey to our good friends at Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. You can get yourself an AR barrel in any length, any caliber you desire for your next AR rifle or AR pistol build. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting that good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in tactical gear, field gear, medical, security, law enforcement, fire, whatever it may be, get on over to uscombatgear.com.
All right, folks. Also want to encourage you, if you're going to be in Vegas next week, Monday, January 20th, 7 to 10 p.m. at the Hofbrauhaus in Las Vegas. Come to the Rundown and Arms Room Radio SHOT Show kickoff. Come on out. Have a good time. We're going to have a good time. Hope you can join us. And with that, today's show will come to an end. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encourage your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Hump Day. Till then, y'all have fun. Y'all have fun. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow.